Thank you, sir, for giving us that overview of the seminar. Mr. S Jawahar has been serving the people for more than 3 decades. Simplicity, easy accessibility, and his extraordinary field visits have made him close to the people of Tamil Nadu. He received the Best District Collector Award for his yeoman service after the tsunami in Nagapattinam. And he was instrumental in the digitization of all the records of millions of government employees and pensioners across the state. Nagapattinam today can boast of many desilted channels and sincere gratitude to him for his tremendous work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to hear from the chief guest. Audience, please put your hands together to welcome our chief guest for the day.
Can you close it? Thank you. I'll remove the mask, take a little bit of risk. But mask has been of great advantage, especially when you are attending video conferences. I usually put the mic on mute and then I speak to my colleagues to get some data without the person opposite side knowing. And also masks have been of great help for getting many people married, people with crooked teeth, people with crooked noses and all. So they realize much later how the person looked without the mask. So it's a joke. So, and among our colleagues, when we suddenly see somebody, like when we're having a tea or something, you see without the mask, then we realize we are not seeing the person without the mask for a long time. The person looks familiar, but we are not able to identify. So these are the last 2 years we have been living with the mask, and now of late, sometimes I feel Corona has become a sort of a demand-driven or rather supply-driven entity. So many masks have been manufactured, so many millions of liters of sanitizer have been manufactured that Corona wants to continue. So with these few words, I like to start my speech. First of all, my sincere gratitude to respected Shri Swaran Singh sir, former Principal Secretary Government of Tamil Nadu and Chairman of TVS SST. Sir has attended my wedding reception way back in 1992, October, when he was Additional Collector of Tsunami district. Sir has not changed at all except for the color of the beard and the mustache, whereas I have changed profusely. So sir, really, we appreciate your physical fitness and your alertness and your speed, with which you are still working, sir. Your inspiration to all of us, sir. Respected founder and chief patron, CSR Spark, through R.S. Krishnaswamy, Madam Dr. Sujata, Sustainable Development Goal Consultant in the Department of Planning and Development, Government of Tamil Nadu. Nikhil Banji, founder, Lakshya, CEO, Richa, former Chief Program Executive, NFCSR, Honorary Advisor, CSR Spark. The Executive Director of MMA, respected Group Captain R. Vijay Kumarji, VSM, Chief Operations, Agastya International Foundation, Shri Sai Chandrasekharji, respected Sridharan sir, and all esteemed members of the forum. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to be amongst you today. Swaran Singh sir was speaking about the similarities between NGOs and the government. I thought of one phrase. Government and NGOs do not do different things. They do things differently. That is the difference. The goals are the same. Upliftment of the most disadvantaged sections of the society. Because a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. Any country, prosperity or standard of living has to be judged by the standard of living of the weakest, of the most disadvantaged section. Why are there certain disadvantaged sections in the country, even after so many years of independence? Reasons being inherent biases like caste, community, geographical disadvantages like remote places, people living in remote, inaccessible areas, in the hilly terrains, in the midst of forests, and some historical reasons also. I'll again like to elaborate between the difference between the government and the NGOs. Government has got a very bureaucratic approach. After 32 years in the government, I can vouch. But government certainly has got a very bureaucratic approach, top-down approach. People in the secretariat in Chennai or the central secretariat in Delhi decide what is good for the people in the remote village. Whereas NGOs are basically grassroots level organizations working at the grassroots, and the feedback from the grassroots is what goes to the leaders of the NGOs who decide the approach. Thanks to our British legacy, even today, many government servants look at the people as the subjects, as if we are the rulers and the subjects. Whereas NGOs have, as Swaran Singh sir rightly pointed out, a participative approach. They work with the people, not for the people, but with the people. That is the difference. Government, again, we are bound by too many rules and regulations. I will give an example. Whereas NGOs are obviously relatively flexible and adaptable to the local needs. Many years ago, I was in the Home Department, I was dealing with a file related to providing additional toilet blocks for the one particular police building in some place in Tamil Nadu. When the file was sent to finance, when you asked for more funds for this particular additional toilet block, the query came, what were these people doing till now? Why are you asking for more funds? How are they managing till now? I was very, I wanted to write that there are a lot of bushes around. So this type of, red tapeism, unnecessary queries happen to slow down the progress of schemes and slow down the entire decision-making process. So this is the inherent disadvantage in government, which is fortunately not there among the NGOs. Our objectives are common, as I told, upliftment. What is most important is cooperation between the civil society organization, the NGOs and the government. Government certainly has got more resources. There's no doubt about it. But unfortunately, these resources are tied up and unevenly allocated due to various reasons, including political reasons. You find refinery, I've seen my own eyes, refinery in a place where for miles around there is no source of crude oil. Crude oil is being imported, and a 300-kilometer long pipeline it is being, because the refinery was to be there thanks to the then people in power. These types of decisions, this type of uneven allocation of resources do take place. Another example is there. We have a 900 crore project, I've seen with my own eyes, where 300 crores is being spent for supplying water. Water is coming from 300 kilometers away. So these types of decisions, unfortunately, ensure or result in uneven distribution of resources. I worked in Nagapattinam for 2 years. 1.5 years, I joined 1.5 years after the tsunami. The immediate need after tsunami was relief, taking care of the injured and disposing the dead bodies. That was done in the first few days. Then it continued. Then the real work, the real challenge was when I joined, that was the rehabilitation part. And I am really thankful to all the NGOs that were there. When I joined, there were more than 300 NGOs working in Nagapattinam. We all worked as one team. We had an NGO coordination center in the district collectorate itself, where we used to coordinate with all the NGOs. And we were successful, among other things, in building 17,794 houses of the victims, entirely sponsored by the NGOs. 58 NGOs. This way. The type design was approved by the government because we didn't want one NGO to make a bigger house, another NGO to make a smaller house to avoid inherent clashes or some sort of discontent. So the type design, 3 or 4 types of type designs were approved by the government. The unit cost was fixed. In those days, I am talking about 2006 to 8, 2.5 lakhs. These houses were built for the earthquake resistant houses. These houses were built for the tsunami victims in 93 locations along the 188 kilometer long coastline of Nagapattinam district. These houses are still going strong. Almost all the houses have my photo also because I am there receiving the key from the VIPs, from the Honorable CM or from the Governor or from any other dignitary. When the houses were being handed over to the beneficiaries. Infrastructure was provided by the government. Government took care of the acquisition of the land for making these houses. Also roads, drainage, drinking water, electricity supply, all the infrastructure was provided by the government. We were able to do this by conducting weekly meetings. Some of the, while building, when you are taking such a large scale operation, obviously suddenly you have shortage of blue metal, shortage of cement, shortage of sand for construction. So we conducted weekly meeting with these NGOs who were involved in the construction and we were able to solve all the problems, clear the bottlenecks, and we ensured that all the houses were delivered to the victims in time. Another 200 NGOs are working towards livelihood, mental health and other issues, which also they were doing very well. So what I am trying to say, it is possible. There is certainly a lack of trust between NGOs and government. NGOs feel that government is mired in red tape, what I myself confessed. Government is mired in red tape, corruption, favoritism, and some decisions which are totally decided by political consideration. Still, government is a permanent structure in there for so many years. There are good people in government like sir, and we have done our best. On the NGO side, there are all types of NGOs, good, bad and ugly. So the good NGOs will certainly survive and certainly there will be a very good collaboration between government and the good NGOs who are doing human service which the government cannot provide. As simply, government cannot provide the services that we are providing. We are not in a position to, we have not either mentally prepared for that type of activity, working at the grassroots level among the people. Till now, maybe things will change in the future. Or the thinking, the entire thinking, the process, the planning process has to change. Then only government can think of providing the type of services what the good NGOs are providing today all over the country. Because it's very simple. See, there will be a certainly major difference between the output and involvement of a salaried government employee and a volunteer with a passion to deliver. Whereas, when it comes to partnership between the government and the NGOs, lot of strengths are there and lot of advantages are there due to this partnership. I will just spell out a few of them. First of all, the resources can be shared. Human resources, government is still the largest employer. So the human resources of the government as well as the specialized and motivated persons who are in the NGOs will come together and work towards the upliftment. Then the data, government has got a vast collection of data which can be of great use to the NGOs. At one time this data was supposed to be secret, cannot be shared. Now thanks to the RTI, everything can be shared and is being shared. Monetary resources, government has its funds thanks to the taxpayer who are still very few numbers in our country and the CSR funds of yours. So our collaboration can certainly do wonders. Then we get to learn from each other, from the government experience, like conferences like this is where we learn from each other, your experience, the NGO's experience and the government experience. What can be called as cross-learning. Sir was mentioning about the remote communities, especially the tribal people. It is high time that these issues were addressed. one reason I like to mention why. Sometimes during the course of our function, our working, especially in the field where people come to the office in large numbers, my subordinates used to say, my sub-collector or my tahsildar, sir, we are not able to do the regular, hundreds of people are coming with their request for various things. And I told them, I counseled them, I said, friend, they are approaching you because they have faith in you. They have faith in the government of Tamil Nadu. The day their faith is lost, your life is in danger. How? 70 out of 770 districts today in India are badly affected by left-wing extremism, where the writ of the government does not function. I have seen with my own eyes. The district collector gets kidnapped along with the 4 of his bodyguards. That is how. Because the faith of those people is gone. They don't have faith in the government anymore. At one time, there were 550 districts, 170 districts were affected. That is the condition. So, it is very important that the faith of the people in the government is sustained through collaborative activities, collaborative efforts of the government as well as the NGOs. These groups have very limited access to the resources, so we have to provide them information, logistics, health, educational institutions, so that they can join the mainstream. That is why they are unable to participate in the interventions today, or have a feeling towards ownership. Therefore, they are easily targeted and influenced by these extremist elements. And in the war between the left-wing extremists and the government forces, or the war between Tamil Nadu police and the Karnataka police and Veerappan's gang, who was the worst sufferer? The tribal, the disciplined people. There is an old African saying, whether the elephants fight or make love, it is the grass that suffers. So this grass, we have to rescue this grass and ensure that they participate in the mainstream. Then only we can say that our country has truly progressed. So I have a few suggestions to this August forum before we conclude. Let us all work towards strengthening the farmer producers organizations, the cooperatives, the self-help groups, and engage them right from the planning stage onwards. As I said, plans formulated in Delhi or in Chennai will not work in the remotest area of Pudukkottai or the Nilgiris. The demand has to come from the grassroots. This is very, very important. Thanks to the Constitution, our democracy is still intact. We are seeing what is happening in the countries around, our neighbors, what's happening, we are seeing. I was reminded of one incident which I saw with my own eyes in Bihar, and then I will conclude. I have conducted some 15, not conducted, I have been election observer appointed by the Election Commission of India in some 15 constituencies, some 10-15 years. I am talking about 20 years ago. So, twice I went to Bihar for conducting elections. So my system is, as soon as I go to the constituency, I see to the map of the constituency to find out what all the polling booths to visit. Polling booths have to be visited and seen whether they are in good condition, fit for the voting to take place, which will happen after 2 weeks. So 3 bodyguards were given to me with huge rifles. And I said, okay, let us go to this polling station today. He said, no, sir, better to avoid this one. Okay, then let us go to this one. Sir, no, sir, there also better to avoid. Okay, then where shall we go? Sir, this one is better. He said, what is the problem? Why can't we go to this? Sir, our writ does not exist there. We have no control over those places. I said, you got AK-47 with you? Sir, those guys have AK-54. They've got satellite phones. They've got horses. They capture the entire area, the riverbed, which is, once the floods recede, the very fertile soil is exposed, where thousands of acres are captured by the local gangs, and they grow cash crops there and rake in millions. So the writ of the government does not exist in those areas. Then I said, how come then how will we conduct the election? Sir, 3 days before the polling, the BSF comes, and they got light machine guns. They got vehicle mounted machine gun. So then they will go for a flag march and maybe 1 or 2 fellows will be shot, then the election will be conducted peacefully. That was the condition 20 years ago. Then I said, yeah, this is now when we are coming and from the election commission all the way from Chennai to the remote part of Bihar and conducting. How were things before all this election commission and thing? Sir, it was very, very nice. It was very pleasant. There will be queues, very systematic queues outside the polling station. So one by one the voters will go inside, take the ballot paper, and at the place where they have to put the chapa, put the stamp, one fellow will be sitting under the table with a big moustache. So he'll just say like this, he'll make, so you have to hand over the ballot paper to him. This fellow will do the stamping and say you put it, fold it and put it. So what if this guy comes out and makes a hue and cry, sir, there's another big moustache guy outside also. And by 12 o'clock we were all happy, sir, we used to have lunch at home. Now at 5 o'clock you have to give the tokens and elections take place up to 7 p.m. We were told by the election commission, when you are approaching any police station, look for, in the line, in the queue, look for women, look for aged people. If there are women in the line, there are aged people, that means polling is happening without any fear. I was moved when one 70-year-old man, he held my hand and said, "Aap kahan se aaye ho? Where are you from?" I said, "I've come all the way from Chennai." He said, "Thanks to you, I'm coming out to vote for after 20 years. So that is the writ of government. That is how our democracy survives. Long live our democracy. Long live the partnership between NGOs and the government. Let us all work towards a better India. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. You really graced the event with your special address. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to honor our chief guest with the mementos as a token of appreciation. Request Mr. Swaran Singh and Group Captain Vijay Kumar to do us the honor for the chief guest, Mr. Jawahar, IAS. Request Mr. Krishna Swamy also to join us.